I want to bring into the conversation now retired Iraq vet who was there at the beginning. That is Army Lieutenant Colonel Scott Rutter. Former Pennsylvania Congressman and Navy vet Joe Sestak also joins the conversation. Gentlemen, it's great to have you with me. Lieutenant Colonel, I want to start with you. As you were part of the first units to be sent into Iraq after the invasion, what does this day mean for you, and what does this mean to the U.S. and their standing in the Middle East going forward?
It's very significant. You know, you figure 9 years, over 4,000 deaths, and then the opportunity for our country to stand tall and be in Iraq in order to contain Iran, those retaining forces in order to set the conditions for our legacy, which we all realize the importance of what happens to Iraq now after the U.S. abandonment of the location is going to be the legacy of the soldiers, of the great soldiers, men and women that I had the honor to lead.
And we're looking at the pictures of you when you were there serving during the time, and it's amazing to think how far we've come in this period of time, but also amazing to think, Congressman, how far we need to go. And just to remind everyone, you were once a three-star admiral in the Navy. You served for decades. You campaigned to end this war. Now that it's officially over, what does this mean as we move forward, America in partnership with Iraq, to making sure that it is secure, that it is a sovereign nation?
Yes, it has come time for us not to be involved in this war in Iraq. And with great respect to Scott and all those men and women who gave the potential for Iraq now to be a democracy, to actually be self-governing, and also to have an economy based upon oil that can actually have a growth rate as quick and as rapid as China and India, is really an accomplishment. But we have to look at our overall national security. And we have an army that in the last 10 years has done nothing but train for counterinsurgency, rightly, and has been unable, according to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, to respond to conflicts anywhere else in the world. So for our overall national security and to be focused upon other areas of the world and to retrain our army and retaining a strong presence with the 7th, 5th Fleet and our forces from Kuwait to Oman, that we can, if we have to go in for a counter-terrorist effort, can do so quickly from outside Iraq, is the right position to take at this time.
Gentlemen, the question that I have now is for both of you, because earlier we played sound from an interview with Senator John McCain, who says leaving now threatens all the progress that we've made. Lieutenant Colonel, what do you make of remarks like that?
100% in agreement. Haven't had the opportunity in order to be in Desert Storm, and then going back in 2003 in Iraqi freedom and actually witnessing and seeing the failure of our countries during the 90s. Let there be no doubt that there were more people that died in Iraq during the 1990s of the failure of our diplomatic mission in Iraq. Physical presence, containment, whether or not that's in urban operations or out, physically containing Iran is extremely important. We have an Iraqi security force that can handle internal insurgencies, but the borders are open, wide open for the money to come in from Iran. We know why we went to Iraq. We went to Iraq in order to contain Iran, in order to provide security and stability throughout the world. Our legacy will be received, not what we did, but what happens in the next 3 or 4 years in the region.
Congressman, when you say we need to have a strong presence there, the goals for that, what does it mean?
Well, what it means is we can accomplish what Senator McCain doesn't think we can, and I have the greatest respect for this former prisoner of war, John McCain. But just like the president showed, we will interdict into another country like we did to get bin Laden in Pakistan. We can do the same effort from our bases in Kuwait, Bahrain, Oman, because we have a very strong ability right there. We're remaining in that region. Second, if we had remained in Iraq, we weren't allowed outside of the green zone of Baghdad. So any counterterrorism efforts of gathering intelligence we can easily do from a place in Kuwait. And finally, if we had left our troops in Iraq, they could have only remained there subject to the court system in Iraq. I never would want to have our troops under a court system of Iraqi jurisdiction. We can, with our fleets and our air forces and our army units there, certainly have as much effort against this influence, which Scott is right about, that we have to oppose in that region.
Former Pennsylvania Congressman Joe Sestak, also retired. Lieutenant Colonel Scott Rutter. Gentlemen, thanks for your time this morning. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.